Nice and rare 156 Sportwagon GTA. Does need a fair amount of work doing to it. Went down Barnstable this weekend to collect it. A good 200-mile trip each way. Very exhausted after that day collecting it. So this is going to be my new sort of long-term project. It does need a fair amount of work doing to it. We'll have a walk around it and see what needs doing to it. Well, it's originally purchased because it has overheated. There's a hole in the radiator, and it is believed that the customer did let it overheat, so it may need an engine rebuild. I am hoping that it doesn't, because I've done a lot of buzzo work lately and my fingers are tired, so I need a bit of a break. So let's have a walk around it and see what it needs doing to it. So we'll start at the front end. Other than needing a major clean, it is going to need a lot of paint work to get it up to standard. The headlights are going to need refurbishing. That one's not too bad, but that one has got quite a bit of peel on it. We need a new fog light. We need to repair the bottom of the bumper down there where somebody's done a little bit of a bodge on there with some no more nails by the look of it. We are going to need at least one new tyre, because that's down to the cords down there. We may want some new brakes, but hopefully they'll clean up. I will probably refurbish or change the wheels as well, because I do like the 18-inch jet fin wheels on these GTAs. I need to repair the typical rust on the front arches. Wing mirrors are probably going to need refurbishing. This one doesn't look too bad, but it's a little bit faded. We've got both the side skirt covers on this side, but one's peeling. That wheel's going to need a refurbish. It's definitely going to need some rear discs and pads. Rear bumper needs fitting correctly. We've got some paint stroke lacquer peel there, and also on the rear quarter. We've got a cracked lower valance. Not sure how easy they are to take off. I've not done one of those. We do have a Ragazon stainless steel exhaust. Rear bumper's got several other marks on it, so definitely needs a repaint. We've got a nice dent in the tailgate. Not sure whether I'll repair that or just chuck another tailgate on it. Well, it does have the chassis number in the glass, so we'll probably end up repairing that. But if you watch the 159 project, that should be fairly simple with my new tool that I have. It's absolutely covered in bird muck on this side. The wing mirror at the front here definitely needs a refurbishment. We are missing a lower skirt cover. We need an arch liner. I am struggling to get hold of one of those. Same with the skirt cover, so if you do have any and you're willing to sell them, give me an email. Onto the interior now. The door stays a little bit noisy, so we'll see if we can get another one of those. The seat bolsters are not too bad. You could do with a little bit of refoaming down here, a little bit of recolouring, but there are no holes in it. A little bit more recolouring there. Other than that, it is good. They are heated seats, but they're not very good heated seats from what I remember. Everything's present and accounted for on the inside of the car. We've even got a DAB radio and antenna on the windscreen. The biggest bonus on this purchase is the full tank of petrol, so that's saved me about £70, if not £80 nowadays. I would like to update the infotainment screen, purely because it's the thicker one. I'd like to get the smaller one. I'm sure I've got one of those in stock somewhere. Everything inside appears to work as it should. We do need to repair that there. Not sure how I'm going to do that, but it's possible. It does start and drive, but as I said earlier, we do have a hole in the radiator, so it's nothing we can drive for too long. When I have started it, the airbag light is staying on, so hopefully that's just a connection under the seat that needs resetting. Passenger seat's pretty good as well, other than needing a good clean. It just needs a little bit of colour there, And where else is it okay? It's okay on that side, maybe just a little bit down there. But other than that, it's not too bad. Let's check out the rear. I don't know why we've got a piece of wood in here. Let's get rid of that. Even got the instruction manual for the stereo. Onto the engine now. It's not too bad, to be honest. Everything's present and accounted for. From what I found out on the history of the car, it has had a lot of work done at other Alfa specialists throughout its life. But yeah, hopefully there's no head gasket problem on it. It looks as though the resistor for the radiator fans has broken off and fell into the radiator, which has caused it to break the radiator. It does need a little bit of TLC when it comes to the trumpets and the fuel rails, but that can all be sorted quite easily. It's even got the complete battery cover as well, and it works. Yay! Onto the boot now then. We've got Bose installed, CD changer, never in a million years going to use that. The boot cover is still there. It's also got the dog guard on it as well, which may actually come in handy for my two dogs if they ever come in it. And we have a spare wheel. Locking wheel nut key. And the luggage securing net. So there we go, we've almost got a complete car. The space saver tyre is a little bit knackered. See a cord coming through that, so yeah, I don't know what they've done with that. That's weird. We've also got the toolkit. It is missing a few bits, but I'm sure we can complete that quite easily. Okay, now onto the underside. A little bit of rust there, if you can see. That's easy enough to repair. Rest of the boot floor is fine. Looks like the arms aren't too old, so they should be okay. How's the rear shockers doing? Look as though they might be okay. Yep, doesn't look like there's a ton of rust on them. Right, floor pan. It's okay there. It may just want a little bit of welding there once I've grinded it all back. It does need a few patches here. Nice sized one there needed, and need a little one there. Remove the fuel lines and touch up behind there, and more than likely it'll want all the way across, to be honest. But actually, it's really quite good. That looks as though it's been messed with there before. The front chassis strengthening plates could do with a refurb. The exhaust seems okay. Not too good there, but again, it's only one pipe needed, so that shouldn't be too bad. It doesn't sound as though it's blowing. Front radiator support's okay. We have got a Mokel oil cooler, which is a good thing. That's one job I'm not going to have to do, which is cracking news. And now the radiator. The radiator doesn't look too old, to be honest, but from what has happened here, too difficult to see on the camera, but I was showing it in the daylight, is up there you can see the back of the resistor. It's gone into the radiator, the fan's probably hit it, and it's put it through the radiator. So what I do have, if I can manage to bodge it to fit, is chuck a 2.5 radiator on here, or even a 2 litre radiator, just as a temporary fix, just to see if we can get it running and make sure that the head gasket hasn't gone. How's the front subframe? Front subframe is perfectly fine. A little bit of oil leak on the bottom of the engine from somewhere. To be honest, that goes all the way up the gearbox, so that wouldn't surprise me if that was the rocker cover gaskets that was causing that. I do believe it needs a cam belt anyway, so it doesn't matter too much about that, because it will have all new parts fitted when I do that. Power steering cooler looks fine. That's just water there. So all in all, oh yeah, let's have a look at this repair that's been done under here. Yeah, somebody stuck some no more nails on there, so we'll do a proper repair on that. Do wonder how bad that is underneath there though. So right, there we go. So all in all, it doesn't look like too bad of a purchase. As long as the head gasket's okay, it should be probably one of the cheapest GTAs available on the market now. Okay, right, yeah, this is the damage on it. That was wedged between the radiator, and the vibrations of the fan was making it do that. And it's created a few holes in the core. So right, let's see if we can get something else to match that radiator. New radiator has arrived, so now we're going to get it fitted so we can get the engine running. Okay, right, radiator's all hooked up now, so let's pop some water in and make sure it doesn't leak. Okay, right, let's get it started and let's see what it wants to do. Well, it's not peeing out water yet, so that's a good sign. Engine sounds pretty good. Do hear a little bit of a knock, but that's probably just because the engine's really cold. If I have been lucky with the head gasket on the engine, I do expect it will have caused some damage if it had overheated as much as it said it had. So at some point I do expect to have to do the head gaskets on this. So let's jump cut 20 minutes for it to warm up. While that warms up, I might as well change the fog light over. There we go, only 99 more jobs left to do now. Okay, cooling fan has kicked in and turned off a few times now, so everything seems okay. Not too much pressure building up in the cooling system. You can still press those down quite easily. I do imagine there's probably still some air in the system, but everything's sounding good. There's no knocking, there's no mixing of fluids. So we're all okay at the moment. I will put the front bumper back on now while it carries on running, and then we can take it for a test drive. Temperature's holding nicely at least. Engine's nice and smooth. Clutch is nice and smooth. So we're doing quite well so far. All gears are working okay, can't hear any whining from the gearbox. Brakes really are not the best, but hopefully they will improve when there's a little less rust on them. Engine temperature staying pretty much where it should. It's quite a warm day today. It has been sitting idling. So yeah, that's about where I'd expect it to. When the fan cuts in, it goes right down to just below 90. So pretty happy with that. I will check the system for pressure again in a minute. I do need to still sort the airbag light, so we might have a look at doing that today as well. But yeah, really happy with it. Drives very nice. Brakes do need sorting, but then again, they are the 305s. And they were never the best, so I may be looking out for a brake upgrade eventually. Okay, just going to try and work out why the airbag light is on. Error code driver's side airbag, so it's just the seat connector under the seat, I reckon. Clear the errors. Fault's gone, not come back. Brilliant. Just going to connect to the engine ECU now. Sorry if you can't see it too well, it's rather a bright day. Check for errors. Lambda signal sensor, invalid signal. So that's going to be something to watch out for. The engine warning light's not on. So worst case is it just needs a new O2 sensor. The very worst case, another catalytic converter, but I've got about 3 of those in stock. Start it up now. It's not instantly come back, so it's not a dead connector. So yeah, all good. I'm finally able to work on the GTA after what is nearly 6 months. Last episode I think I was changing the radiator, because when I bought it, it needed a new radiator. So I've changed the radiator, I've done all the welding on the underside and undercoated it. I didn't bother filming any of that. So now I'm at the stage where I'm about to paint the front bumper once I finish prepping it. It is in primer now, just needs a little bit more rubbing down, de-rust it, de-grease it, and get a nice counter paint and lacquer on there for it. But I have already recorded lots of the work in progress on the tailgate and on the front bumper, so I will include all those bits now, and I'll join you at the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe if you like watching these Alfa videos, and also give the video a like. And if for any reason you don't like the video, just tell me why. I don't mind that, and I can try and improve anything you say. So yeah, see you at the end of the video. The tailgate is pretty much prepped for primer now. I just need to, I've got a few little holes in the filler there which need sorting out. But other than that, that dent is now finally gone. I will insert a few bits and dabs of the video of the repair to it. But unfortunately, one of the videos I did pulling the main dent out has gone missing, unfortunately, because it has been that long since I filmed it. I think I actually started filming it towards the end of the summer, when I actually pulled the initial dent out and first slabbed the first lot of filler onto it. So I'm glad we're nearly there with the tailgate. The front bumper, I have now repaired the crack at the bottom. Just needs a little bit more fettling and prep the rest of the bumper. To get rid of there and here. You've got a nice line down here. It's all popped out there. That is all pretty smooth all the way along there. So just a little bit of work to do here, and we can slap some filler on it and start making it look a lot better. Next level. Righty-ho, I think that is about as good as I'm going to get it. I could probably do a little bit more there, but I'm quite happy with that. So right, let's slap a little bit of filler on there and give the rest of that panel a bit of a sand down as well, just to make sure the filler gets good adhesion. Right, as you can see, there's a crack here. Somebody's attempted to repair it with some no more nails, but it hasn't worked. Right, what I've ended up doing is, because it was filled with filler this side, I have grinded all the filler out. I've drilled a hole here so it doesn't crack anymore. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to have some fiberglass and fiberglass it together, and then we'll have to put some filler on it. It's not the way I'd like to do it, but it's so expensive to get another bumper for these GTAs. I'm going to have to make this bumper repair as a little bit of a bodge, but it will still be good as long as I treat it gently. It shouldn't crack again. I've also keyed up this surface on the inside here so we can get a good bond. So let's stick some fiberglass and resin on there now, and let's see if we can get this back together again. Right, okay, we'll let that dry for a while. I have managed to build up a little bit there. Let's just push that in a bit so I can get the filler in there. So that will be a little bit stronger than filler. Let's try and make it a bit neater. Fiberglass is now all dry, so what we're going to do now is stick a little bit of filler on the other side of the bumper, so we can then get that smoothed out and all repaired. This repair is all nice and tight now. There's no flex in there at all now. So I am going to need to be careful when we're driving against low curbs, because we're not going to want to crack it again once it's been freshly painted. So let's get some filler mixed up and get that done. I've also got this crack here. I'm probably not going to repair that one because this is going to be bolted to the front wing of the car anyway, so that's not going to be moving very much. I do need to tidy this up a little bit here and put a bit more filler in there, but other than that we're nearly there with it. Next level. Next level. Next level. Next level. Next level. I've managed to get a couple of runs in the lacquer, so what I've done, I've put a thicker coat of lacquer on to chase the drips to the end of the panel. So hopefully once it's all dried I can just sand those drips off and the actual main part of the panel is okay. Let me show you what I've done. So you see what had happened, it had dripped all along there. So what I've done, I've just put loads more lacquer on to get it to the end of the panel, and then you'll have drips at the end there which will be very easy to get rid of, plus they're also behind the bumper. The same here. See, the drip there is totally gone now, but I've managed to chase it all to the end there. And the other annoying thing is it's bloody dripped everywhere really, so I've got another one there I'm going to have to get rid of, but that should be fairly simple to get rid of. Worst case is I've just got to re-lacquer that part of the panel once it's dried. So right, bumper's had a few hours to dry now. I've had a busy afternoon working on customers' cars. Not entirely happy with the bumper, to be honest. It's a really good smooth finish and there's not much dust in it. I managed to chase out all the drips there. Even managed to wipe away the excess lacquer there, so it's not that bad at all. Here I've pretty much got away with it. There's just a little bit to nib down there, and a little bit here to nib down, and maybe a tiny bit there. But yeah, not happy with it because of the run which I've got on the side of the bumper here. It appears as though that I've not let the paint fully dry before I've lacquered it, and when I've lacquered it, some of the paint to run down with it. If it was just a case of the lacquer running, that's fine, I could have got rid of that, but it looks as though the paint's run with it as well, which is a bit weird. But that's the joys of painting silver, and this is only what, the third time I've painted silver, so I think that's a pretty good finish other than that. But yeah, mistakes happen, so I will be repainting this, unfortunately. This week I am working on my 156 GTA, and as you can see I've already been a busy boy and I've stripped the engine out. Now, I haven't shown you removing the engine because I've done it many times on different videos, so I will be inserting a link probably now. Engine came out perfectly fine, no issues removing it, no broken bolts, no nothing. All I discovered was wrong. That drive shaft gaiter has been ordered and I'm waiting for a new one to come. I have been busy stripping the engine right the way down. I am having to change the crank seal. Cam belt's being done at the same time, but what I'm going to be doing mainly in this video is refurbishing a lot of the parts. Now, I've already done these already and I haven't filmed any with that. But what I do have to paint on camera is going to be prepping these 4 engine covers ready for paint. As you can see, the 2 main covers are rather oily and grimy, so I'm going to have to degrease those first. And the other ones are going to want a little bit of sandblasting, and then prepping, painting, and then lacquering. So what I'm going to be doing, I've got some paint thinners in here just to get rid of a load of the grease and the oil. Brush all over to get rid of any of the grease on it. Grease and oil. I wasn't going to do this one, but as you can see, it has had some oil coming to the manifold at some point. So I am going to want to clean that off. And it just seemed that paint thinners seems to be one of the best things to get rid of stubborn oil stains. As you can see, quite quickly it just comes straight off. A lot better than brake cleaner and carb cleaner. I'm also going to be cleaning out the inside of this manifold with a lot of soapy water to clean that up as well. Right, so let that one sit a minute and swap over. The reason I'm not just sticking them in a sandblaster like this is because all that oil will contaminate my bead material and it will go all clumpy and it'll get blocked up. So I want to make sure all the oil's removed off it first. So I've got a nice clean surface to clean up. And your paintbrush won't last long when you're using paint thinners. But that's fine. It's only a cheap one. Yep, certainly coming apart quickly. I did use this the other day to clean up some of the other parts, so it is well on its way out. So join me in a minute when I clean the rest of these up. So all the oil and the grime has been removed now pretty much. This one is still wet, but I am going to be taking it outside and pressure washing it off now. As you can see, most of the grime is gone. There's a few little stubborn bits left in the corner, but with a good old high bar pressure washer, it should remove all of the grime. And then we can get them in the sandblaster just to tidy them up a little bit, get rid of some of the corrosion, so the paint's got a good surface to adhere to. So everything is now blasted. It's now covered in sand particles and bead particles, so it does need a very good soap and clean. So I'm just going to do that now off camera so they are all nice and clean, because we don't want any sand or grit getting into the engine. So triple check that this is extremely clean indeed. For painting these, I'll be mostly using a rattle can, just so you've got an idea of what sort of finish you can get when you're painting these yourselves at home. I will be giving one final lacquer coat with my gun because I actually ran out of lacquer. Also, the step with the sandblasting, if you're doing this at home, obviously you can skip that. You can just use some sandpaper just to... The key with any good paintwork is in the preparation. That's why I spent so much time cleaning everything off it, especially all the old oil, because if I got a reaction on the paint, I'd have to strip it all down again and do it all over. So yeah, the key with a good paint finish on these covers is clean and make sure there's no remnants of grease or oil or anything left over. The paint that I'm using for the black is just a high gloss black, so it is like a little bit of a metallic fleck to it, and the silver is just like an engine silver. There's nothing special about that, there's no colour code for it. With the paint I gave it 3 coats, and the lacquer gets 2 coats and then one final coat once I have finished the letter colouring. Okay guys, it's now the next day. I've been working all day on the engine. I've put a Q2 differential on the gearbox. I've fitted the cam belt. I've had to re-tap one of the threads for the auxiliary belt tensioner, not the auxiliary, the cam belt tensioners. When a cam belt was done last time, way before I had it, it looked like it had been double threaded. So when I came to undo the bearing, the nut was actually loose. So we were really close to having a cam belt catastrophe on our hands. So we are lucky. I've re-tapped that. I've stuck a little new thread in there, so that's all good now, ready to go. Let's show you the engine and what I've done so far. So let's show you the engine and where I'm at now. Fitted a new clutch slave cylinder. I've got a brand new clutch in there. I've fitted the diff seal, not the diff seal, the crankshaft seal. I did clean the gearbox up a little bit, but you know, it's 127,000 mile engine, so I'm not going to town on it. I've fitted the new CV gator on the other side. I've just placed the covers on there with the new gaskets in. I've put the fuel rails back in on top there. I have fitted all the covers on the other side. Let's take you round. I am just waiting for the alternator and starter motor to come back from being refurbished. I'm waiting for a bolt set to come so I can put some new bolts in there. I've repainted the face of the power steering pulley. All the cam belt has been done in there with all new tensioners. But yeah, that tensioner there, that's the one which is double threaded. That one's not a problem there, because this mount, you can still buy that brand new, but the thread in there goes into the head. So it would have been an engine out job for this if we were doing the cam belt in the car, to get in with the drill there to drill and tap that. So yeah, I'm glad I was able to helicoil that. Drive shaft gate is all done. So we're all timed up fine. I'm just waiting on the bolt set now before I can go any further. There is one more job I can do with these engine covers. I need to paint the lettering. So I'm going to show you how that's done now. I've got a reasonably thin paintbrush that you've seen behind my ear. It's quite flat as well, so I can get straight on top of the lettering. Just got some red paint there, which is a nice sort of Rosso red. Don't put too much paint on your brush. Have a steady hand and then just start to paint the top of the lettering, like so. You will want to do 2, possibly 3 coats on this, but as long as you keep your brush flat, it's very unlikely you'll go over the edge, as long as you haven't got too much paint on your brush. I'd like to say I feel a bit like Rolf Harris doing this, but I'll best not say his name. I'll say Tony Hart instead. I feel a bit more like Tony Hart. Being creative. Don't worry if it doesn't look very smooth on the first coat, because as it dries, it does flatten out. You will see the black through it, so you will need to do more than 1 coat because of that. Just try and get right to the edges. Show you another letter. Just keeping the brush flat, right against the edges. So I'm left-handed, so I'm working from left to right. If you're right-handed, you'll want to work the other way around, so you don't run your hand over the wet lettering. There's so many different combinations of colours and finishes you can have. This is one I've just not done before. In black, I've always done them red or silver. So I thought, no, I'm going to go for a black one for a change. I did slip a little bit then and I got a little bit off, but that doesn't matter. What I'm going to do once I finish painting the lettering, I'm going to let that dry. I am then going to give it a really thick coat of lacquer, just so that finish can be nice and smooth. Full stop's a little bit more awkward to do. I also work along the longest side of the letter. So as you can see on the 3, the top of the 3, I'll work this way, and then the side of the 3 I'll work this way, just so you've got a lot more surface to work with rather than trying to get into the little nooks and crannies with a big brush. What some people do as well is, you see these sort of raised parts, you can sand them back so they're silver, but I do find some of the castings aren't the best, so the actual silver parts can be uneven and not symmetrical, and I don't like that, so I want to leave this one all black. So there we go, that has all had one coat now. How much better does that look with just a little bit of lick of red paint? I'm going to let that dry now for a few hours, give it another coat, let it dry again, another coat, and then lacquer over the whole thing, and we should be good to go. There we go, guys, we are all done with painting the engine covers now. I have just placed them on top there just as a temporary measure because I've still got to refurbish the fuel rails. But all the hard work is done now, and then the engine can go back in, and all the rest of the parts can be fitted once the engine is in. So I've had a few more bits refurbished while we have been off screen. I have refurbished the intake pipes. They have been repolished. There are still pit marks in them, but they are one heck of a lot better than they were. But I'm not paying £140 each for new ones, so they can go on like that. Engine is all in. I have bolted most of the things back to it, but I am still waiting to refurbish the fuel rails, which are what we're going to be doing in this episode. I've also refurbished the front subframe, new wishbones, new anti-roll bar links, and the E-back anti-roll bar, front and rear. I've still got to put the rear one on wherever I've put that. That is over there. I'm also in the process of refurbishing the fan surround and the radiator support. So guys, today I'm going to be refurbishing these fuel rails. As you can see, they're a little bit pitted and rusty. They are originally silver. Some of them did come in like a zinc colouring. I have ordered a gold as close to the zinc as I can find. I'll spray a bit out there. See it? Which is that colour there, which is a BMW Senna Gold Metallic, which looks like it should be a reasonable match. So let's get these taken apart. Let's try and get this fuel rail off here. There we go. Pull the clips off. Three more to go. All I'm doing, I'm just pushing each side of the clip and off it will come. Let's put those safely on the engine, out the way, so they don't go missing while I'm cleaning everything up. Injectors should now just pull off, and we will get fuel everywhere. There we go, all four are out. Let's pop that off as well because that's not going to be needed. Right, so all I've done now is just filled each of the ends with foam and then covered each of the other open ends with masking tape. So now we can put them in the booth and get them blasted off. Right, ready to give it a good coat of acid etch primer now. I've swapped out the foam for some masking tape because I was finding it was blowing out. I also found there was quite a bit of corrosion on them, so once I've primed it, it may still show some corrosion through it. Right, give that a while to dry now and we'll give that gold a go. While I'm waiting for stuff to dry, I've decided to tackle the airbox because that's rusted away. That has severely rusted away, and yes, I need to put a new glove on. And I reckon that these will probably snap when taking them off, so I have started cleaning them up a bit. Put a little bit of WD-40 on them, but these I'm going to tackle first. I'm going to get my Dremel on them, cut a nice slot in there, and then hopefully it'll just come undone. See if it's enough. Yep. One more to go in there, but I need to remove these two bolts first. Fingers crossed they come out. Yeah. Annoyingly, that one has broken off. When I take the lid off, hopefully I'll have a little bit protruding so I can get a pair of mall grips on there. So now at least the lid will come off. We have an auto delta filter, which is nice. Right, can we get anything on that? I should think we can. Whoa, dodged a bullet on that one. So the main airbox is fine, just got some debris in there. So technically, as long as the airflow meter doesn't go faulty, we should be good to go. But no, I do want to get these off and blast them and paint them and give everything a good clean up. Just turning it bit by bit so I don't put undue stress on the nut or the bolts. It's getting tight. Right, I'm just going to undo this off camera because it's gone quite tight. So, one has snapped off, the other one is just spinning, so we're going to have to cut that one off and then see what we can do to make it look like standard. Now, I did try and heat this up to pull the screw out. Normally works, but there's too much plastic on this type of airbox lid, so I can't do much about it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it off just below where the nut is, hopefully, and then I can then epoxy another nut onto it, and then hopefully make it look quite tidy, so when it's all back together, you'd never tell. And what can be done once I've got the right size thread is just epoxy that onto there, and then we're good to go. Right, let's just test this together and see how we do. It's a little bit lower, but we can make that work, not a problem. So let's epoxy these in. I know they are a little bit longer than we need, but we can always cut them down if need be. Right, just going to leave that with the single coat on it, let that dry so at least it's stuck into position. And you can get some better stuff which is more like putty. I'm going to try that around it and see if that gives a better finish, and then I can always paint it afterwards. Okay, so I've got some of this putty, so we shall mix a block up of it. All mixed up now. Okay, bit of a bodge, but it should do the job. Let's leave that to dry overnight and see how good that is. Right, airbox and fuel rails are repainted now and all done. I've also fitted the clips and cleaned the injectors up as well. I haven't restored the clips, I've just given them a good clean. Now the lid is ready to go back on. And I forgot which way around it goes. It goes this way around if I do believe correctly. With the lid, all I've done, rubbed it down, quick coat of primer, and then a little bit of satin black. And it just looks very clean. It doesn't look as though it's been painted. Have I put the right size screws in this? I think I should have done. I think that's the right way around. It is. I've also refurbished these. They were extremely corroded, but they will do the job enough for me. So there we go, guys. Another part of the puzzle is now complete. So I'm going to get on and get these fitted. So here we are. I have ordered a new coolant bottle because that really does let the engine bay down. I've also get a new top mount, and I will refurbish that top mount. There's a little bit of rust coming through behind there each side, so I will be treating that as well. I'm just waiting for a new battery to come because this has been sitting there that long, the batteries won't charge anymore, so that's been changed under warranty. I do need to give the engine a quick wipe over again because I have got it a bit dusty and grimy from when I was installing it and pushing things around. So hopefully the battery will be here in a minute so I can let you hear it running. So I think next on the card is going to be the bodywork. It is in a proper state. The wings are all flat and peeling in some areas, mainly on the other side. The rest of the bodywork isn't too bad. You should remember I did repaint the tailgate after that had a dent in it last year. But yeah, it's all going to have to be stripped down so I can give it a full repaint, and it's going to have to be the exact same silver. I would love to paint it the same colour as my Quadrifoglio, which is like a pearl white, because there aren't any GTAs in that colour. So it would have been nice to do that, but no, I've got to keep it original because knowing me, after I've used it for 6 months, I'll be wanting to sell it anyway. So hopefully, yeah, that's on the cards next to get the full repaint done. Hopefully I can get that done before the end of the year as well. What are we in, 16th, 17th, 18th of November today, so we never know. So there we go, guys. After a stupidly long hiatus of me not being able to work on my own cars, I've finally managed to put 5 days aside, including Saturdays. I've worked on a Saturday morning and I have managed to get it finished. I do still want to change the coolant bottle. because it is disgustingly dirty. I have ordered one of those, so that will be here on Monday. Next, I've got to fit the rear anti-rail bar and then MOT it. I've got a knock on the front end. Something's rubbing when I turn on to right-hand full lock, so I just need to check what that is. And then it's strip it down for the repaints. Now, I'm not going to be repainting this one because I just don't have the time to have all these bits lying around my workshop. So I'm going to be sending it to one of my friends to be painted. So there should be another big update on this one over the next month or so. So speak to you soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video. So I have decided on another stereo. The single DIN stereo that was in it was a Kenwood one DAB. It was okay, but it was just a normal old style DIN single slotted stereo. So I wanted something else. Ideally I wanted a double DIN stereo, but in the 156 you can't because it's only a single DIN slot and there's no way of sticking a double DIN in unless you do loads of modifications. So I have gone for the new style stereo, which is sort of a single DIN stereo with a screen which comes out. I was looking at various different makes, looking at the Sony one, and I was also looking at a Pioneer one, I think it was. I'll stick some pictures in now for you. And they were from 400 to sort of £700. And then it all of a sudden popped into my head. I did a review on a Toto stereo last year, and it was actually really quite good. So I emailed the guy and got myself a good deal on this stereo. So let's open the box. I haven't opened it yet, so we can see what's inside, how it fits the GTA, and how good it is. Right, I've already removed the old Kenwood stereo. That's what was fitted. So it was a DAB one, but it was just a little bit meh. So I've removed that now, and we've already got the connection leads behind for the Bose amp to convert it from the Bose system to the aftermarket system. So we should pretty much be able to slide this in and get it up and working. Initially we have ran into a little problem. It seems that the stereo here is a little bit too wide. So I'm going to have to get my file out and just take a little bit off that so that'll slot in. So what I'm going to do is remove this fascia plate so I can foil down the edge a little bit just to give it enough room so it fits in neatly. Okay, off camera I've just dremeled that edge in a bit so it fits in there nicely now. Let's pop this back in here. This fits now it's installed. There we go, protective cover off here. Let's find some leads out. Don't want that one. Don't want that one. Don't want that one. We're going to take a guess at it and go for ISO B. No, this is ISO A, so okay. We'll go with ISO A. Speaker one. Power. We don't need to change the mic over. That one goes in. The antenna. We do need to change that one over. So let's just undo the leads and get them all in. Just going to forward to the leads are being roughly installed because otherwise it's going to take forever. Right, let's pop the ignition on now and see if it powers up. I'll tell you what, this front screen is very well packaged indeed. Initial thoughts, the screen quality is actually better than the last stereo. So the unit is now all fitted. I've not used anything on it yet. It's still brand new to me, so I am going to have a play around with that and see how everything works. But mainly this video is about fitting it and how it looks once it's in. So a lot of people are not going to like the way it fits. I'm not tremendously happy with it, but it's literally the only choice you've got without doing lots of modifications to the fascia here of fitting a double DIN stereo. I mean, once you're sitting here, you can still see all the dials. If you lean forward, I can see everything there. But what you can do is you can adjust it, lean it forwards, lean it back. You can also move it up and move it down. At the side here, you've got a SD card. On this side, you have got a USB and an auxiliary input, and you've also got a mic input as well. But so the letdown of it is the aesthetics. When you look behind it, you can see all this mount behind it still. Now, if you could fit a little cover which clips around it, that would be gorgeous to make that sort of hidden. But unfortunately, that is on show. So that is the one downside to this unit. Now, what I've done since I fitted the stereo is I've lowered it to almost its lowest setting, so I can see the 3 dials up here. I can still touch the dials here without any problem, but I can't see them. So what I'm probably going to do is raise it up a couple, just so I can see the temperature dials underneath, because you're probably going to want to mess with the temperature dials more. And if you want to look at the dials for the temperature, you can just lean forward and see them quite easy. Now, what a lot of people are not going to like is how proud it comes out of the dashboard. You know, it's your own personal preference. If you want to fit and keep a single DIN stereo, that's perfectly fine. This choice is mine, it's perfectly fine. I want a big double screen stereo so I can easily access my music and access any other features while I'm stuck waiting in the car. Now the wheel's removed, I'm going to remove this anti-roll bar link here, and then we can start to remove the bolts on the anti-roll bar. Typically it doesn't come off straight away, so I'm going to get a pair of mole grips behind there just to hold it tight. Now, I wouldn't undo these with an impact gun because they are known to snap, and that's the last thing you want to happen. I'll leave that one loose while I undo the other side. Just lift it out of the way. And as you can see, they are absolutely worn, because you should be able to turn them around a little bit, but you shouldn't be able to move them up and down. So they are well in need of change. Now I need to remove the fitment from here to get the bush out. Now they are press fit. Some people can hammer a chisel in there and get them open that way, but 9 times out of 10 they end up bending, so you can't put them back in the same position very easily. So there's 2 ways I do it. On these smaller ones, I will just drill the centre out here, and then you can separate it and then bolt them back together. The other way, on the larger ones, I normally cut with a really thin cutting disc straight through the side there, and that normally gives me a good result on the larger bushes, normally on the front anti-roll bars for the GTAs and 147s and things like that. So now, let me put my goggles on, and hopefully just a quick drill and it should come through. Going up in sizes gradually, so it should hopefully not create too much of a hassle when drilling through it. should be able to just hit it and it'll come off. So now we have one poor condition anti-roll bar removed. Right, I've just given the mounts a quick sandblast primer and then covered them in a little bit of black paint and lacquer. So now we need to grease up the bushes. Slide them over the end if I can get them over. Make sure they're all loose. So what you need to do now is not push them together because it's not going to work because you've drilled it out. Is hold them up against the subframe, pop your screw in and tighten it all up, and that should force it all together nice and tight. What I've also done is just put a little bit of copper slip on the bolts so they don't get seized. I feel as though I was very lucky that they came out okay. Let's just tighten these up now, then clean up the messy grease. And now we just need to tighten up the anti-roll bar links. So there we go, we are all done. Just making sure everything is tight and nothing's going to be rubbing or touching. Just need to pull this brake pipe out of the way. So there you go, that is how you fit a rear EBAC anti-roll bar to a GTA. It is also exactly the same on all 147s and all 156s. You can even fit GTA anti-roll bars to a standard 147, 156. So my anti-roll bars will be for sale if anybody wants them. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.